embodiment. And it has so proven true. And it's very beautiful because I do play for them for different things to actually watch how they interact together. It's not just on camera. They are so precious. The grace, the way they speak to each other, the way they talk to each other, and the way they look at each other when other
Yeah.
people are looking. It's just precious. So how could I not come back? In fact, I noticed I felt like I was floating a little bit. I'm going to get gas, and I thought, I don't feel like I'm walking. I literally feel like I'm floating. The truckers over there, I'm like, did you see that? I didn't walk. I floated to my car. So I was laughing because I really have been on a very beautiful high, and I'm really interested and anxious to um, integrate all of the beautiful teachings that I learned while I was with them.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and again, we're talking about the Twin Ray. I had the good fortune to spend a week with them in their sanctuary last year, and just you're right, they are always in that. And again, Annette brought in gratitude. They live in a state of gratitude, and as part of this awakening world that we're all supporting each other with. Um, it's people like Annette and the Twin Ray and the people that I meet that are living at a very high vibration. They're always kind, they're always in gratitude, they're always considerate, they're always generous. It's like these are the values and the qualities that I've observed in the people that I respect the most, that are really living in whatever you want to call it, heaven on earth reality, 5D consciousness. Now, tell us, you are the alchemist of sound. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I have always, since I was a little girl, I loved music. And I've always been involved in music, but I used to work for Red Rock TV in Sedona, but I was on an assignment and I had to interview someone. It was a Crystal Skull conference, but they were exhibiting these bowls. And it was strange because at that conference, they were talking about how the ancients traveled on the power of sound. And I discovered as they were humming one of the notes, I jumped up from my seat and ran back and I was tapping all of the bowls. And no wonder this one wanted to say. It was it was the high heart note that they traveled on. And they said that the pyramids were actually ancient airports and that they would go into the pyramids and that there was a sound that they would use and it sounded circular but it reverberated but it was monotone and I thought it's kind of like those crystal bowls out there that they were exhibiting and sure enough when I went out to find out what note they would hum inside the chambers when they would start traveling it was the frequency of the heart and over and over again, the twin ray all weekend long, it always comes back to be in alignment with the frequency of the heart. So when we can align our entire body and line up to those heart harmonics, and maybe some diamond in there, creating the whole harmony of the body, and then even above, going up above the toroidal field and coming down through all the way down into the crystalline core because our bodies are crystalline, our bones are crystalline, our blood is salt water, basically. And even there's crystals inside our eyes and especially the third eye, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. They found chambers of white alchemy gold, and this is a pineal bowl in white alchemy gold. And I can tell you a little bit more about. I could tell you so much, but anyway, it's really fun, and I can't wait to share with you what I've discovered working with the power of crystalline sound to remind us of who we really are and to come back to our divinity, resonate with the heart.
Oh, so enjoying your energy and your enthusiasm. There is a question, and then we're going to get to our other presenters. But Wanda is asking, how does a deaf person make that connection?
Oh, you know what? It's so vibrational. They hear these tones, a deaf person can feel it. And that's the whole point. You hit a bowl and you literally drop out of your mind and into your body. So the senses of deaf people are very attuned to to the frequency and the vibration that's happening. So it's beautiful for deaf people, quite honestly.
Thank you for sharing that. And I just learned as we were talking before the show began, everybody, Pamela is going to be in Sedona at the same time as our retreat. So for those of you coming to the retreat, like Karen Eisenberg is applauding, I see, we're going to get to, Pamela is going to be with us, and we're going to get a crystal bowl experience with her. So that's really exciting. And we'll hear, of course, more from Pamela. But I want to introduce our other guests. This is Bart. And Bart is got an amazing background, and Bart is also planning on coming to Sedona during our retreat. So Bart, tell us about kind of a little bit about your fascinating background. You have been helping people for decades. So tell us about you and a little bit about your history.
Thank you, Scott. And thank you, Pamela and Annette. Amazing, really. Looking forward to see you in Sedona. My background, I was led to healing out of necessity because I was one of those extreme skiers back in the day when skis were tied to your feet and we didn't have helmets. So my brother and I always went as fast as we could, and of course we crashed. But my career in healing began in San Francisco with Tai Chi, and one step led to the other, where I started training in the modalities of therapies that were helping me to recover from spinal and knee injuries. So it just grew from there. And in that quest, I was also looking for a way to free myself from my past growing up in Los Angeles back in the days of Van Halen and all that. I grew up with those guys, and there was a lot of partying, we'll say, and also a lot of excitement in Los Angeles. So I began a venture into shamanic psychotherapies there. And what happened was everything kind of just amalgamated, and I used body awareness through Tai Chi and Qigong, like I shared there. And I combined that with sound, the singing of the shaman. You know, that's absolutely what, when you're working with people, they're, from my perspective, their DNA calls forth the Ikaro that is being sung for them in ceremony. And that's what you can sense and see and watch as people come. So really nice to hear you, Pamela, talk about that. And I'm excited about experiencing more. So anyway, I married a Swedish woman that took me to Sweden, and my career went throughout Europe and the Middle East. And thank God for Zoom, because it's kind of brought me to a chance to be actually connected with more people. And that's where I would say my next quest is to be able to meet with more people and learn from everybody, and also be able to take gifts that I have to share with people to come out of their mind and into their heart and express themselves. Yeah.
Well, it's beautiful to have you with us, and I'm looking forward to learning more about some of your understanding of healing. So thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
I am going to Beth Greer next. Hi, Beth.
Hi, great to be here. So lovely, Pamela and Annette. Thank you for those gifts.
It's kind of like so much love, so many different magical healing environments. Okay, I'm really eager to hear about what it is like to be the supernatural mom, and what maybe some of your superpowers might be.
I was thinking about the last time I was in a blackout. So 1977, I was living in New York, and we had a massive blackout, and then when the power came on, it was during the day, so I couldn't tell because the lights weren't on, but I could feel just this tremendous energy rush, and I knew the lights had come on, and then I flicked them on. So that was sort of the beginning of my sense of my being sensitive to things. And but the way I became supernatural mom was that 20 years ago, I was running a company called The Learning Annex, and I didn't realize how stressed I was, but I developed this pain in my shoulder, went to the chiropractor, and after 5 sessions, he said, "You need an MRI because I think you have a herniated disc." So the MRI showed a mass in my chest. It was the size of a tennis ball, and I had it biopsied, and luckily it was not cancer. It was a benign nerve root tumor, but it was very painful. And the pain was shooting down my arm, and my first 3 fingers were numb, and it was scary. And so I went to 3 top surgeons. I was living in the Bay Area at the time, and they all agreed I needed surgery, but they couldn't agree on how to access the tumor. So the first one said he wants to cut me under my collarbone. The second one said, no, we're going to go in under your armpit. And the third one said, no, 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 I'm going to remove one of your ribs from the back. And that's how we're going to get it. I'm going to put mesh in there. And I'm just like listening to this. And I felt like such a healthy, sick person. And I just thought, I don't want to succumb to surgery. I want to see if I can heal myself. And the years of running the Learning Annex, I studied with people like Deepak Chopra and Wayne Dyer and Marianne, and all the people, many people you've had on your show. So I wound up going to a retreat center called the Optimal Health Center down in San Diego. And they had us talk to our quote unquote disease. And I asked, I said, why are you here? What is the message you have for me? And the word came back, simplify. And I realized I wasn't leading a simple life at all. I was very complicated, right? My company had grown. We were in 6 cities across North America, and I was eating out all the time, microwaving my food. I took time to meditate for 20 minutes a day, but that really wasn't enough. I never got out in nature. I would be working 10-hour days and then go to the evening lectures because I was so enthralled with these speakers. So anyway, long story short, I started to look at what I can simplify. First thing I looked at what I was eating and drinking. And as I said, I was eating out all the time. So I started cooking my food. And actually, I started a raw food diet for the next 6 months. To heal and cleanse. And the next thing I looked at was what I was putting on my skin. And I realized that there's paragraph worth of chemicals in my moisturizer, makeup, and cleaning supplies and all that. And so I went to all natural and products. And then I looked at what I was cleaning with. And I remember holding a bottle of Windex and looking at the back label, and it said, precautionary statement, hazardous to humans and domestic animals. And I thought, why am I spraying my countertops and my daughter's high chair down with this? So I switched out to all natural products, and within 6 months, the pain was diminishing. By 8 months, it was gone. The pain disappeared, and I went and had another scan, and the tumor was gone. So that was my wake-up call, that our bodies are self-healing if we don't gunk them up with all this crap that we're exposed to. So I went on to become, I call myself like a healthy home transformer. And I wrote a book called Supernatural Home, What Goes in Us, On Us, and Surrounds Us. So that's what I've been doing for the past 20 years. And then, which I'll talk about later, I discovered the patches, and that just took things up, a big notch. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being with us. And gosh, as you're telling your story, so many things we have in common. And thank you for your work with the Learning Annex. Was very familiar with that wonderful part of our history. So thank you for your lifelong journey of helping our planet awaken, both personally and sharing vulnerably about your own personal journey.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to go back to Annette and a chance for us to chat with her a little bit. And again, thank you for that beautiful meditation. Annette, you've been, as long as I've known you, you've been a real leader in the spiritual movement and in what this show is all about awakening. And so I'd love to ask you, from your perspective, how's humanity doing? Are we waking up fast enough? How's it going?
Yes, we are. I think so. For the awakening to happen, we have to see what has been in the shadow. We need to be transparent. And that is what's happening in the world right now, as I see it, my perception of it. So my whole work started about 20 years ago, where I had we call it spiritual awakening or divine intervention it just was not something that changed my life completely. And it was that very process that started that I see manifesting in the world right now, where it was no longer possible to run away from that which is the inner suffering or the darkness or that which is in the shadow sides. So that was a journey that took me into a permanent state of not be afraid to meet the inner challenges or suffering. Like the inner world then starts reflecting in the outer world. So this is what I've been sharing about for the past 20 years, my own journey and how this happened to me. Before this happened, I was working as a holistic therapist, and I still do and have done all these years. But my interest in that has deepened the last few years. And I've studied with Dr. Ron Rosedale and Dr. David Sinclair and others about the rejuvenation of the body, about how our cells are made, and especially around Dr. Rosedale's community of cells, like it goes right into what we call the ancient technology of consciousness with sacred mantras that some of the speakers here also speak about, the sacred sound. So it's very interesting to tie the ancient knowledge with the modern high-tech discovery of the science. So that's where I've been going deeper in my clinic and my work as a therapist, and also sharing. It's my love to share whatever I'm finding. And I think it's an ever-evolving journey that we're on. It's not like you run 100 meters and then you're there. You just keep growing and learning. And that's where the joy is. And that's where also the gratitude lies, to keep expanding and learning more about who we are. And so I want to share that what my great passion is, what I call, since we speak about oneness here, oneness awakening. Oneness is such a nice concept, summarizing what this consciousness is all about. So what I've been fascinated with and worked with the last few years is oneness in the body. So of course, body, mind, consciousness is something, and the alchemy of consciousness, I've been teaching about that for years. But now health has come really into focus the last few years. Also, I stopped traveling because of the pandemic and all these things. I started working more online, and then also deepening my knowledge or understanding with the help of the new science, and tapping deeper into that ancient technology of consciousness, what they knew thousands of years ago. And like Pamela shared about the Egyptian, the pyramids, it's just, and your bowls and everything that many of you have already speaking about. It goes right in line with what is happening now. I feel so in alignment with that, the sound, the sacred sounds. And so oneness in the body, it's all about accessing that information field that Dr. David Sinclair speaks about, longevity, and we can actually age reverse. So that is something I'm starting to tap into. And we're just like in the beginning of that field. And it's absolutely fascinating. And also what Beth spoke about, remove all those things that do no good for us, in our body, on our body, inside our body. I'm completely in alignment with that also. That is health. And that is how we access. So it's very like many small pieces of puzzle that come together, unifying body, mind, consciousness, not in an intellectual, philosophical way, even though that's nice, but in a very practical way, how to access oneness in the body. So I'm very happy and excited to hear all you others that are sharing here, the other speakers, and to be sharing from my perception here also. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We do have a quick question that came in for you, Annette.
Yeah.
I've been doing my best to scan all the different Facebook groups and pages that are watching us. And there was somebody on Facebook who asked for you to clarify more about what you meant about the connection between the heart and the I am. From your meditation.
Yes. So the I am, like when we meet someone, I tried to bring it down to very practical things, to not be so lofty. I'm kind of known for being sometimes a little childish, very practical. I've read so many books all my life, been very serious. So when I had this awakening happening, then this child just came out, and this joy and this happiness. So I tend to not have a prepared guided meditation. It comes, whatever comes. So this meditation, the I am presence came. So I'm also happy that it came out. And what I meant with it, because from my guidance, it always comes from feelings and images, more like right brain activity, and then the words kind of follow along, right? So what I meant by that is, like, when we meet someone new, you say I am, and you say your name. So you put your hand on your heart. You don't go I am, when you introduce yourself, because that would be kind of spooky if you did. So there's obviously something very precious, very sacred, something that you want to share with someone else. You go, I am, So obviously we have somewhere along the line got this identification problem. Like we identify ourselves with our body, our age, our name, and this and that. There is a greater, I think that's what we all share here on this show, like you share the source. There is a grander source inside that is our true identity. We have this false IDs walking around with. It's not that it's false, but it's not the whole picture. So the I am presence, that is, of course, like the Sanskrit mantra Nara Narayana, which is sharing that in just 2 words, what we would take like a book to share. That is that we are here as unique individuals, but we are also one. Nara Narayana, like we are a cell in the body, and each cell together makes the body. So the cell cannot be without the body not without the cells. It's a community of cells, and that's what the information field and oneness in the body is. So the I am presence, it is including both our identity with the smaller self. You can say that whoever, you're this age, you're this person, this identity, but we're also, each and every one of us, connected into a field that you can call the Antriyaman, or the indweller. In Sanskrit, it's called the Antriyaman, or you can call it the higher sacred self, or God, divine, or intelligence of the cosmos, intelligence. Each one find their own word for that. So for me, I heard the words I am presence. That's what I was talking about. The I am presence. It's in you, it's in me, it's in everyone. But everyone is free to relate to it in our own way. So there's not, like, how can there be a religion or an organization that says, well, I got it right? We're all like just fusing into from that field of the one. So that's my take on the I am presence.
Thank you so much. Sarah, who had asked the question on Facebook, just wrote that she was always fascinated by, in the Bible, when Moses asked, "Who are you?" to God, and God said, "I am that I am." And so that's why she's always been intrigued by that, apparently, and that's why she wanted your clarification on it.
Beautiful. Thank you.
All right. Well, we are now going to introduce Bhimi. And Bhimi is a longtime friend of mine. I've known her for a long, long time. And Bhimi is a big part of who put kind of this whole show together. All the people that you've met are friends of Bhimi's. And let me tell you a little bit about who Bhimi is. She is an alternative health advocate and an entrepreneur for over 45 years. I guess she started when she was 7. She has founded 6 companies, senior vice president of product development for many, and she served as a publicist for Tony Robbins, also Braco the Gazer. I remember him from the Whole Life Expo shows, Mother Meera, Amachi. She's been involved in this world for a long time with many of the people that, have been many of our guides, our luminaries. She has been involved in Aikido, Qigong, founded the Conscious Living School, worked with Amma and Bhagavan, similar to Annette here, been very involved with the Golden Age consciousness meditation. Bhimi, you've been doing it for a long, long time. Thank you.
Yeah, and I was only 5 when I started, not
I
7.
figured 5, 6 around there. Yeah.
I am so honored to be here and to be with all of you. I mean, you're all dear friends and colleagues and precious people, and everybody has made such a contribution to helping the planet grow in your own way. And really, I am so honored. I've worked with you. I've represented some of you. I've played with you. We've just had an incredible life together. So thank you so much, Scott, for letting us put the show together.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, one of the things that kind of brought us together today, and of course, we've got a lot of people of all different ages. I see there's a whole chat going on with Nancy and Eleanor and Atira that are all in their late 70s and between 77 and 80, it looks like. And they're all regulars on the show. So we appreciate all the different ages. So you are very involved now in something that I've started to use, which is helping us with anti-aging and all sorts of other things. So tell us about what you're most excited about and kind of what we're wanting to learn about today.
Yeah, I am so super excited about this because, like everyone has mentioned, it's, health is so key and important for us to be able to grow into oneness, to really live in those higher dimensions, because the body has to elevate while the consciousness is elevating. And technology is growing, science is developing. And there is a new technology. Well, it's about 3 years old now. It took about 10 years to develop, millions of dollars. It's on the cutting edge, breakthrough, unlike anything I've ever seen in my 45 plus years of being in alternative health. And it's just rocking the regenerative medicine world. And it's patented. It is something that is simple to use. It's non-invasive. It has no ingredients. And so what is this magic, this potion, this technology? It's called the X39 stem cell activation patch. So I don't know what people know about stem cells. There's a lot of information out there. It's kind of the holy grail of age reversal. Everybody's researching it and studying it. If you look at Tony Robbins' new book, Life Force, he's got chapters about stem cells and this technology, that technology. But guess what? LifeWave, the company that all of us are using, this patch, has come to market and beat everybody. They're way ahead of the game. And it's very simple. It's a patch. It looks like this. And like I said, there's no ingredients. It's actually got organic crystals in it, but not the kind of crystals that Pamela was talking about. These are crystals of amino acids, salt, sugar, and water. And they form this kind of lattice. And this is the secret magic. This is going to blow your mind. You know that we're light beings. Everybody, we all know that. We emit light, we emit heat. When you put this on, that natural process of light and heat activates this crystal structure, and it reflects back this signal, this wavelength, and it goes, wake up, turn the light switch on. We're going to start generating younger stem cells. This is unbelievable, the results that happen, the stories, the recoveries, the turnarounds in your health. And that's kind of the simplistic understanding. It's called phototherapy, which is really just light therapy. And this is what we're all so excited about.
Beautiful. So, and just so people know, Bhimi kind of told me about it. So I've got my little X39 patches that I've been using. And so what are some of the examples? Now, I do know you've got some images. Should we show some of those slides, Bhimi?
Yeah, we can. There's a lot of stories, and I think the guests are going to share all that are using it, but I wanted to bring you some slides because these are, there are a lot of different categories of slides. And so I want you to see how the patch can affect your life. So right here, these are different athletes that use it. Some of the Olympic team, different. So just hold 1 second. So those were the athletes, and it helps you with sports recovery, stamina, energy. Okay, Scott, we're going to kind of run through these because we have quite a bit. This is pretty profound. Bell's palsy is not an easy disease condition to get around. This woman had a change in a few months. Okay. Now, I want you to look here over on the right. There's a broken bone on the bone that's on the far right on the wrist. There's you'll see where it's a split.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the next one, it's healed.
And how long did that take? How long did that healing take? Do you know?
That took about 2 months. The doctor told her, the only way you're going to heal this is through an operation.
Wow. Okay.
And so she said, I thank you, but I found this. I'm going to try this. This is incredible.
Yes, because some of them are a little bit harder for people to see, but this one is easier for people to see.
Yeah, this was a Parkinson's condition. And I think Beth also, she doesn't have Parkinson's, but she has a condition she's going to show you. But this was profound. Again, this was in about 6 weeks. The swelling, the inflammation, being able to walk and not limp, changed the complete quality of his life.
Wow, amazing. So from this.
And then we go into scars. So wait, there was the woman before was, there's an after picture.
I think we might have missed putting it in the slideshow. So
okay, well, we'll come. Are you coming back? Well, okay.
Yeah, I don't have that one in. I might have missed it.
All right. Well, what happened was that big scar within about 2.5 months was almost completely gone.
Wow.
So you can go back. I'll go back through the rest of them.
Okay.
Okay. So on the far left, you'll see a really bad accident. His hand complete, scarring within 63 days, completely gone. Wound healing is one of the big things that happens if you have any scars or things like, even from the past, it will heal it up. Okay. This is another example of a knee operation. You can see the before and after and the scarring. Okay. And again, on the left is an injury, and then what happened just a few weeks later.
I think what I'd love to do, we'll get back to some of this, but we've got so many, we've got all of your guests that are with us.
Yes.
So I'm kind of, we can get back to those slides.
Yeah.
Can we? I'd love to hear from some of your guests. So let's go to Pamela Luz. Pamela, hi. So, okay, you've got a story or an experience. What would you like to share?
Actually, my experience was kind of an answer to prayer, because I had been praying for ways that I could activate more light in my body. And so I was, drinking chlorophyll, and I kept asking, what can I do? But eating more fruits and vegetables, things that had chlorophyll in it. And then when my friends, Peter Sterling, told me, Pamela, you've got to try this patch. He put it on, and he was telling me about it. And he was also telling me about some of the support patches, like aloe vera, that we could use that feed the pineal. So I thought immediately, this crystal lattice, actually the sugar and the salt and the other amino acids are crystals. I started thinking, I can't wait to patch my people when I'm playing these crystalline sounds. and to see what happens for people who are wanting to activate more consciousness, because light is is our divinity. We're actually reflecting our light's divinity back into our body, and our body's being informed from the divinity aspect of our being what needs to heal. And that's why the stem cells are waking up and accessing. So I started utilizing all of the pineal type tones, even down to these deeper ones when I was playing with my clients. And sure enough, the very first client that I started playing bowls with and utilizing all of these pineal sounds while they were laying on my table, they started seeing sacred geometry and colors without having to do any drugs at all. There's no drugs in this. This is literally just our light. It's not transdermal, or it is transdermal. It's just our light body activating and informing our cells what needs to happen next. But what's really incredible is my mother had heart failure and 2 strokes because she had only 25% squeeze on her heart, and I put the X39 on her, and they said that this heart tissue could never repair because it was from a virus, and she had to have a pacemaker. And so I put the stem cells on her, and I asked her after 30 days, you usually need to take 90 days. They say 2 skin cycles so that you can have that cumulative effect. But I said to Mom, Mom, can you tell anything? Do you feel better? And she would say, no, I can't really tell anything, as she has her yoga mat now at 85 and she's going out the door to yoga. And then the next time I asked her again, I said, well, just keep using it, Mom, because when it's working on some of the deeper organs like your heart, you might not really tell a difference. Now, I did break my toe on the way down here, on the way home, and it was all swollen, and I couldn't hardly drive, so I put an X39. Do you know, in about 10 to 20 minutes, I didn't have any pain. And it healed literally like overnight. It's quite miraculous. But my mom couldn't really feel anything. Then she said the next time she's going to yoga, now she's going to stay for Pilates because she's got that much energy. Well, the cool thing is she went to the doctor, and he looked at her saying, you know, what have you been doing? Because your heart squeeze has gone from 25%, where she ended up having 2 strokes because it was blowing clots, to 57, and 55 is normal. So wow. I've seen over and over the miraculous things, even in my own family, and I am blown away every single day by the power of our light. But I'm thrilled with this particularly because we don't have to go inject someone else's stem cells into our body with other things that we don't know are there from those stem cells. We get to just activate our own body's light intelligence. And that is brilliance to me. So.
Wow. Well, you're already getting comments. Nancy writes, amazing, brilliant, Pamela, sound healing. Matu says, I love that. Karen writes, Pamela, I love the power of our light miracles. So, and we'll hear more from Pamela, but I put also a little bit of information about her in the chat box. Bart, what would you like to share about your experience here?
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Pamela. I have a lot of injuries that accumulated through many things, even more than the skiing I mentioned, but to save time. But I've had quite a few car accidents and motorcycle, and just all around tough living, surfing, mountain climbing, things like that, rock climbing. So I had all these injuries and a lot of arthritis from the martial arts, and I was a carpenter. But the main thing that had occurred when I was 13 is I took a jump up at Mammoth, and I went, the jump had changed because it melted, and I went straight up instead of out. And I was going up for quite a while, and I turned and I looked down at my brother and said, you know, it's like Wile E. Coyote, wham, you know, and I blew out my hips. I jammed all my vertebrae together. And for decades, I trained in Feldenkrais, and my practitioner teacher would never be able to get my hips in the right place over my knees. Now, fast forward to today, I've been on the patch for 3 years now. I had 9 traumatic brain injuries, and my knees were totally blown out 13 years ago, again, on another ski injury. But I have total full mobility. And I went through a process after about 2 years of my pelvic structures realigning. And I didn't know that was what was happening, but my knees had been paralyzed, and that appeared 3 years ago. I'm jumping a little bit here. I collapsed in Dubai, and I had lost all neurological feed. And with the quantum work that I mentioned in my bio, I do quantum medicine and healing. And I was able to get myself back up, get to a chiropractor, get going. But I didn't know that in that ski injury, I had paralyzed or partially paralyzed my knees. And after about, I'd say 6 months, the left knee had connected. And then after 18 months, I felt secure on both knees. Both knees were more vital and stable. But then all of a sudden this happened in my structures, and I couldn't get out of bed. And I did get out of bed, but I was very cautious walking. And after a month of realigning, I've been doing Tai Chi since '88, and I did my Tai Chi to see how everything was, because Tai Chi is very slow and exact on all your joints and everything. And all of a sudden I could feel my inner core and all my pelvic structures. I'd never felt that my whole life. So now my total recall just popped in before my first brain trauma. And this is what I wanted to share. Bhimi doesn't even know this one, or maybe you do. When I was 3, I fell asleep while my dad was building a loft at our beach house in Michigan. And I fell asleep and fell like 7 feet onto concrete, landing on the back of my head. That was my first TBI. And that cleared in certain stages, but about a week and a half ago, I remembered an event prior to that injury. And I remembered my best friend's name. I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden this thought comes through, Mark Maranzano. I'm going, who's Mark Maranzano? And then all of a sudden it connects to when I was 3 years old. He was my best friend before I had that trauma. So my whole life, this part of my life had been blocked out. And yesterday, I played tennis for the first time in probably 18 years. And I'm teaching my son. And I was trained professionally as a kid. And I didn't play on any teams, but I played against the college team with my friend. We'd go out and play with those guys. So I was addicted to tennis. And I've been afraid to do lateral movement. And yesterday I'm out there playing with my son. He hits a wild ball, and I'm running to get it and hopping around and bending over. And at the end I go, oh, no, well, how am I going to feel tomorrow? You know? And I got up this morning, no pain, a little soreness in the new muscles that I use, but I'll be 67 on the 14th. And I feel like I did when I was 40. So this has been a miracle for me. And of course, I give it to the clients that I can introduce this to, and it's been fantastic. So
I'm 66, and so we're the same age. And yeah, that's why I'm so excited about this, because I think we all want to live decades more, and we want to be able to heal faster. And, you know, and we all know that there's big breakthroughs happening in anti-aging and in miracle healing. And so,
yeah, I tell people this is, I saw it in my clients and my family, but for me, it's actual age reversal. Even the back of my hair, you can see my hair is all dark back here. I was totally white hair. My blonde's come back, but yeah, it's been a miracle. Welcome.
well, if my hair turns dark, you know, 6 months from now, then we'll have the ultimate story. Won't we?
Yeah, this is black. Okay.
Bart, well, we'll hear more from Bart, and of course, we're going to meet Bart, and we're going to meet Pamela in Sedona for the first coming to the retreat. So that's going to be pretty exciting. All right, I'm going to go to you, Beth. What do you want to share with us, super conscious mom and supernatural mom?
Okay, so when I was a teenager, I got kicked in the left leg playing soccer, and the girl wasn't wearing sneakers. She was wearing these leather shoes, and it was very painful. And I had to walk home 2 miles. My mother wasn't available to pick me up. Anyway, so I had this swelling in my leg, and I remember like going to different doctors because I was scared. I didn't know what was, it just didn't look normal. And every decade that I've been alive, it's sort of getting worse and worse. And so I had all this edema in my foot, and the veins are bulging and discoloration. It looks almost like a diabetic foot, and I went to different doctors. I had injections. And then just before COVID and the lockdown, I had made an appointment to go have surgery and have the vein from my femoral artery removed that went down to my ankle. Anyway, that was canceled because of the lockdown, thank goodness. And then Bhimi calls me, right? So this is like 2.5 years ago. And she's like, oh, you got to try this amazing technology. And so I did. And in 2 months, I have Scott, I think you have the photos. So if you could put it up, you can see it's pretty dramatic. Do you have the photos?
Which I've got about 100 photos of Bhimi.
Oh,
No,
sent.
I didn't send him your
I sent
photo.
it. I sent it
Oh,
to
you
him.
sent it to him.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's the one with just the foot on a toilet seat.
It will take me a moment to find that. So
Okay, but
go ahead
I'll
and
keep
just search.
talking. But anyway, I really became a believer in these patches, and I started sharing it with friends of mine. So a friend who has MS had balance problems because she was having neuropathy. She couldn't feel the bottoms of her feet. And after a few months, the feeling came back and she's walking better, and her life has changed completely. And then she told a friend of hers who has Parkinson's. When I met this woman who had Parkinson's, she was walking with a cane in the house and 2 poles walking outside. She used her walking sticks. And she said that when she had been diagnosed with Parkinson's, it was devastating to her because she had been very athletic and into yoga and all this. And so she said her body just felt like lead. So after, I think it was like 3 or 4 months, she said, she stopped using the cane in the house. She realized that she didn't need the handrail to walk down the stairs. Now she stopped using her poles outside, the brace is off. And I spoke to her a couple of weeks ago. She said, Beth, I'm jumping up and down now. So it's like, it was pretty incredible. The other thing I just want to say is that because we had this hurricane here and the blackout, no power, so we lit candles and we played Scrabble. So I remember in the past that, I'm sorry if you hear this noise, they're cleaning up the trees outside, but I remember in the past, my Scrabble scores were probably, I never really broke 200, I don't think. And so we played twice and I'm in the in the mid to high 300s. And it's like, I was like, what? This is unbelievable. Like all of a sudden I'm coming up with these, words that in the past I wouldn't have been able to see somehow. So somehow my brain is on. And the other thing is that I turned 70 in May, and I feel fantastic. And so I do feel like I'm reverse aging, and it's been amazing.
Wow. Thank you so much, Beth. I do want to get to Annette and kind of hear what Annette wants to share.
Unmute. So, yes, this goes exactly in alignment with my whole philosophy of life, like what Pamela shared about the light of consciousness. And since I shared with you, I've been traveling the world and nonstop. I mean, every week, a new country, just having so much passion about this oneness. But it was taking toll on my body. So when I started sharing or putting these patches on X39 about 2.5 years ago, I remember the first 5 days and nights I was sleeping. The body was like in deep sleep. I could not get off the couch. So obviously this body needed to rejuvenate and just, gather in from energy back into the body. So that's what happened in my case. And since then, I've been using what Pamela is using, aloe vera. So that's also my favorite. I use aloe vera at night, which is helping the pineal gland, at least my experience. So the meditations are very deep, and the third eye area, and also the skin. The skin is like amazing. And that I really saw after about 3 months. That's when things started. I started to realize I didn't have any huge, like breaking bones and things like that. But these were the things, and also with the studies of the stem cells, I don't want to inject anything into me. So this kind of patches with crystals generating from the light of my own body, mind consciousness, it just was very compelling to me to continue with that, to keep growing and learning. And it's backed by science. So again, it's that new science combined with the ancient technology of consciousness. So I'm super excited about this product as well. I'll keep taking it.
Well, thank you so much. It's of course the chat box is lighting up with all sorts of questions. And Pamela did send, I'm sorry, Beth sent me her before and after. So here are the before and after of her photo. Obviously on the left is before. And how long did that take, Beth? What was the amount of time that took?
It was about 2.5 months. I'm sorry, they're chipping trees out there, so it's very loud, but I'm going to go on
We
mute.
don't hear it. We aren't hearing, so you don't have to apologize for that. We're not even hearing it. Yeah.
About 2.5 months.
2.5 months from left to right. Amazing.
Correct.
Thank you. So I'm going to bring Bhimi back on. So Bhimi, obviously a lot of people are asking a lot of questions.
I'm sure. Let me say a few things, because it brings up a lot of questions, because like, how can it work? There's a link that you can go to that will answer so many of your questions. It's called Start, and maybe Scott, you can put it in the chat box. Start, START, X39.com. You'll see a couple of animated videos. It'll show how it works. There'll be an interview with David Schmidt, our CEO and a doctor. And you'll see some incredible testimonials at the bottom. All the science is there if you want to dive into that, and a brief overview of how it works. And basically what you're doing is you get a little sleeve, what we call it's a little container, what Scott showed you, and you get 30 patches in it. And you put a fresh one on every day. You put it on in the morning. It's going to give you energy, mental clarity, focus. You just feel super vital. You're like being turned on, because there's something else that's happening. I didn't go into this, but there's a very important master signaling molecule called GHK copper peptide. And you can Google this. It's all over the web. It's so important for how our body works. And it starts to reset 4,000 genes to a younger expression within 48 hours. And then it's activating the body to make the stem cells, which are younger and intelligent. So you have two different systems that are being ignited. And both of these are starting to diminish naturally if you don't do something. At age 35, they both go down about 50%. By age 60, which a lot of us are, that and older, it's almost 80% down. So what we can do, which is such an easy solution, is just put a patch on. And it's going to help your immune system. It's going to help detox you, your vitality. It grows your hair back. Like Bart said, it can even change your color. We have pictures of that. Your skin's going to get good, smooth texture. We recommend at least a 90-day protocol. That's 3 months worth. It gives you access to have a deeper healing, and the collagen rebuilds within 90 days. And collagen is the main protein in our entire body, for our skin, our hair, our, everything. So if there's specific questions, you can ask me, Scott. And if you want to get a hold of me, my email is, I think I put it in there. It's healingworksnow @gmail. and I can help you and answer questions. I'll put that in there now too.
I just put it in. So contact Bhimi at healingworksnow@gmail.com. I want to,
It
I'll be
needs to be
honest.
an X.
What's that?
Yeah, she put it in correctly. It needs to have an X in there, not a K. S.
Did I put a K?
No, but Scott
put-
did.
No, Scott did.
Now,
that out.
thank you.
It's Healing Works Now. Yes,
There we
there we
go.
go.
Thank you for noticing that. I was
Wait, no, it's incorrect again, Scott. It's instead of KS, it's X.
Yeah, it's WORX.
here. Okay, well, thank you. All right. So, Bhimi's is the correct one. Healing Works WORX, like
Yeah.
the X39
Thank you, Beth.
now at Gmail. Okay. Thank you for that clarification. And yeah, it's, go ahead, Bhimi.
Yeah, so I want everybody to think about this because we're at a time in our life where we're looking for solutions for health. I'm in Hawaii right now, and I was giving a presentation yesterday to a whole bunch of new people checking this out. And I asked, how many people in the room have a health challenge? I'd say 98% of the people raised their hand. And then I asked how many people know somebody, a friend or a loved one, who is suffering, and everybody raised their hand. So we are at a time where people need healing. We all need healing. We've been bombarded by the environment, all the things that Beth was cleaning up, everything, and COVID, and so much in stress, from COVID and what's happening in the world. This helps with stress and anxiety. It helps to lift you up. You're getting more energy. You feel like you're young again because you really are rejuvenating. And we don't know what that feels like because we're so used to what we've been used to. So as you heard from everybody today, and myself, I had digestive issues for over 20 years on enzymes 3 times a day. In 2 weeks, I was off my enzymes. I had a neuropathy patch on my shoulder. In 2 months, it went away. And this is the key here. I want you guys to listen. I went to a naturopath, and you can have a biocellular test done on your cellular age versus your chronological age. When I went before COVID, I was 70 years old, and I tested for my cellular age that was 60. When I went after COVID, and the only thing that I changed was adding the patch, the naturopath said to me, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Why?" He says, "I got to check this again." And he did it. And he said, "Your cellular age is now 35 to 40.
Wow.
So that was incredible. And I feel just, I've always felt youthful, but I feel even more youthful. So we all here are experiencing this at one level or another. You heard from a lot of different people. And everybody's different. We don't know when it's going to affect you. Some people feel something more sooner. Some people, it takes a few months. And it doesn't matter because it's working.
Yeah. Thank you, Bhimi. And, I want to be honest, I have a lot of people now because of, the success of this show who are reaching out to me every week, asking me to be on the show as a presenter, to promote their book, or to promote their products. And I have to be very discerning because I'm protective of all of you, that we've got this beautiful kind of global peace tribe community that we're building. And so when Bhimi first approached me, I was skeptical, but I've known Bhimi for a long time. I trust her. I have love for her, and we have a decades-long friendship. And honestly, when she told me that Anette was really involved, it's like, oh, well, now if Annette's involved with it, that raises the bar of, my trust. But this was like about 2 months ago, and I still was like, well, I want to use this first. So Bhimi sent me. This is actually my third packet. Now you can't see because the Zoom is weird. There we go.
Right there.
There we go. No, right there. This is the spot. So this is actually my third packet that I've just started using now, and I actually have added the X49 as well. And I haven't had any incredible miracle stories, but my arthritis is definitely better. And my energy level is definitely pretty amazing. I mean, yesterday I did not get a good night's sleep. I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I did my relationship satsang group. I then drove all the way to San Rafael, did the psychic fair, taught a 2-hour class, drove all the way back, walked the dog, got back just in time for my Saturday night show, which was another 3 hours once we do the sound checks and get the show going. And here I am this morning and I feel great. So I can't say, who knows how much of it is, but I really trust Bhimi. I trust Annette. And then it's been great meeting Pamela and Beth and Bart. And I get it. This is legit. This is something really worthwhile. And because so many of the people that watch this show, and most of the people here are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, even, Eleanor, 80 years old now. So I realized this is really important. So that's why I wanted to make sure that we did do a special show about this. But also want you to all get to know how amazing each of these people are as individuals and their long history with health and vitality. So I'm going to actually kind of just go on to gallery view and add everybody. And we'll kind of conclude with a little bit of a roundtable discussion. So here are all of our presenters, so you're all on gallery view now. And there are a couple of questions that have come in. Yes, ordered directly from Bhimi. So I guess the best bet, Bhimi, if people want to order, is for them to email you. Is that the best bet?
Yeah. Excuse me. I'm going to help you get it wholesale and show you how to get the best price and what package would be the best one for you. So definitely email me, put your phone number in there, and I'll get in touch with you.
Great. And I will put Annette and Beth's websites in again. I have put it in once before, but I'll put it in one more time. And yes, Nancy, you're right. Eleanor's 80 years young. Thank you for that clarification. And Pamela, I love your idea of putting it on the third eye. I've been putting it in the back of my, back here and on the knee, the places that, but I'm gonna put it. Which one do you recommend? The 39 or the 49 for the pineal?
No, it's the
Put on the X39 on the third eye too. That works just wonderful. But Ayurveda is one of the patches that's specifically for the skin, and it feeds the pineal. So that's why I was like, oh man, I can't wait to try that. And I've had so many cool, when I'm doing a sound bath, I patch everybody and they're laying there doing, and it's so cool because they'll go, I'm seeing these certain things happening, or they have insights that they normally wouldn't. So with the power of the patch, of the crystalline patch, and also our divinity, it's actually opening up those centers. And that's exciting too. And I'll tell you, I haven't always been this happy, you guys. My journey has been with suicidal depression, believe it or not. And I've been hospitalized 3 times for suicidal depression. So I'm a real advocate for all the things that we can do for our body naturally. I've been on every antidepressant known to man to get out of the hospital. And then after a while, they quit working again. So I was definitely on a road to try to find something. I was like, I want to work at the causal level. And that's what X39 does. It goes to the cause, it triages right to where your body has the issue. And so if you will give it some time to work, I mean, it's simple. It's not like having to go do all of these surgeries and things. And I've just had incredible, my neighbor who had palsy. I'm really about wanting to help people. And so this is just a natural way to do it because how helping people come back to their divinity, how does it get better than that? And then letting the divinity that knows what the real issue is. So centering it up. And that's kind of even just like even with these just going to the heart frequencies and and the root. Let's just get back to the center of our being where all the answers are really right here.
Wow. And just want to ask, how long have you, like, when did the shift take place, in terms of, going
Depression?
from, yeah.
Well, for me, I've traveled for years with Crystal Tone, so I was with, oh gosh, Dr. Joe, who was it? The three amigos, Dr. Joe Wyman, Greg Braden, and
Bruce Lipton and,
exhibiting there, and they're talking about going into the field. And I went, oh my gosh, I can help people do that and get into that field with the bridge of sound. So I started using the meditations that Dr. Joe was doing and the sound together, and I'm off all my medication. And
wow.
meditation and the sound of the bowls, because when you listen to a bowl, you can't help but drop out of, that's the power,
Mm,
instantly drop out of your mind and into your body and your heart. And so it helps you train yourself to be present in the moment of now. And that's where all the
wow. Beautiful, beautiful. Bhimi, gonna come back to you again. So I'm putting your, again, and I saw that is okay to put your phone number in there, because I know some people.
Yes, you can put my phone number, you can call me, leave a message if I don't answer, because it's a very multi-layered experience. The patch is going to hit trauma that's trapped in your body. It's emotional, it's physical. You may have a pain when, like Bart, where you fell, you don't even remember, and all of a sudden it's clearing up, because as we're ascending, the body needs to release and let go of these buried traumas. And part of the healing of what stem cells do, it's activating the body to open up, to release. And that's what we do when we're going into these higher dimensions of consciousness. So the patch is a huge support. It's, to me, I mean, our inventor, David Schmidt, and CEO, people liken him to Tesla. Let me tell you this, before he goes into the lab, he prays. He has said that he gets guidance. It's not coming from him. He is a CEO like you've never seen before. This company is geared toward helping people heal. And yes, the company's doing extremely well. People can, it's a network marketing. You can make extra income if you feel like you want to share, because all of us here are the type of people that like to share. When you have something that's helping people, you want to tell other people, like Scott is doing. So we all can benefit and help each other. So this is an extraordinary opportunity. I feel like it's a blessing that's come onto the planet at the right time when we're really ascending, and we need that support so that we feel and can stay in that higher frequency.
Beautiful. And yeah, I'm just following Pamela's lead. This is not where people usually put the patch. This is the first time I put it there, but I thought, since I don't do psychedelics anymore, and I have all these wonderful memories back when I did, who knows, maybe I'm going to have after this is over and I take my dog for a walk, maybe the trees, they'll be shimmering a little bit more. I'm going to bring all of our friends on one last time. And then, of course, we always start and end with music from Omashar on Sundays. But I want to thank all of you so much for being with us. And it's going to be great having Pamela and Bart in Sedona. I see a lot of our people who are going to be in Sedona are asking for a sound bath, Pamela. So we'll definitely make sure that you come on over. Some of us have got in a large house, and so we'll have to do the sound bath at the house where people can then chill out. And there's a big grassy area, so that'll be nice. And along those lines, I do want to remind everybody that this retreat that we're going to be doing is going to be incredible. And we're really excited that Daniel Brinkley is going to be joining us for the retreat. So again, I'll put the information into the chat box. Or for those of you watching on Facebook, we are doing a big retreat. It's going to start with an event with Danyan. You will never die. And Danyan is going to tell us why. And of course, Danyan Brinkley has had several near-death experiences and has come back to talk about it. He's a longtime friend of mine. I first put Danyan on a television show I worked on called The Other Side back in 1994. So he and I go back a long, long ways. And during our retreat, it's going to be 4 days in amazing, magical Sedona, Arizona. Now I'm laughing. I look kind of silly with this little thing on my third eye here. But what the heck, I'm going for it. We're going to have, during the 4 days, multiple play shops, including Bart, who is a modern day shaman, an urban shaman, talking about his shamanic experiences. We're going to have Raquel Spring, the amazing Brazilian astrologer, and a lot of the people that you've met on the show who are all coming to Sedona. So we're going to have about a dozen different play shops. On Saturday, there's a big psychic fair and psychic festival. On Sunday is the Super Conscious Music Festival taking place with musical artists. And then we're going to also have adventures. We'll go out to the Sedona power spots and vortexes. We're going to have meals together. Omashar is going to be with us. We're going to be teaching emotional intelligence, skill building, and compassionate communication on Monday. People are going to start arriving on Thursday, the 20th. We kind of officially start on Friday, the 21st, going to go all the way through. Have a big day on Monday, the 24th. And I know a lot of people are planning on staying even after the official retreat has ended. So join us for the first Global Peace Tribe retreat in Sedona, Arizona. And I'll put the into the chat box where people can register for this. And also, again, very excited about the new season of the Awakening World. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'll come back to all of our friends one last time, but I want to go to our beloved Omashar for some music and a chance for us to digest all this incredible information. So, Omashar, what are your thoughts? What stands out?
I've already emailed Bhimi, and I'm in, and because it's you get guided to things, and I feel a buzz, a spirit guidance about this, so I'm gonna give it a try. Why not? And it's brilliant. And I have a simple song I put into the chat. It's the Namaste song, and keep yourself muted, but let's just all sing this together a few rounds as we conclude this beautiful Sacred Sunday show. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Scott.
And a reminder as you sing, go ahead and mute yourselves because Zoom doesn't make it easy for us to all sing together. But let's sing with ourselves muted and letting Omashar be the only person whose sound we're going to actually hear on the Zoom broadcast.
Namaste, namaste, my heart singing, namaste. The love in me beholds the love in you, namaste, namaste. Namaste, namaste, my heart singing, namaste. Love in me beholds the love in you. Namaste, namaste. I hear you. Yes. Namaste, namaste. My heart singing. Namaste. namaste. My heart singing, namaste. The love in me beholds the love in you. Namaste. 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 Namaste, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. I'm going to go to gallery view. We always like to close on gallery view so we can see all of our beautiful friends. Thank you so much, Annette and Bart and Beth and Pamela and Bhimi, and of course, beloved brother Omashar. And yeah, so let's all live long and prosper with
Right.
all the wonderful new opportunities that are coming our way as we create this wonderful awakening world. Have a beautiful week, everybody. I look forward to seeing you all next weekend, and only less than 3 weeks until a lot of us will be together at the retreat in Sedona. Take care, everybody. Have a great, great week.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you
Thank
so much, Scott. Thank you for this beautiful event. Thank you so much.
Take care, everybody. And thank you, everybody, to people on Facebook. I want to acknowledge everybody watching on Facebook and also all the people watching the replay. You know, about 40% of our views now come from people watching the replays. So even if you're not with us live, we are loving you and appreciating you, and see you all soon. Take care, everybody.